I don't know if you feel this too, but I always went through periods of extreme motivation and periods of extreme laziness. I just alternate between feeling like, you know what, I'm gonna build the most amazing body. I'd go for days, weeks, months training really hard. And then I would go through another period where I just wouldn't go. I'd feel super lazy. And I'd always have reasons and rationalizations. I'm too busy. I'm moving cities. There's no gym near my house. Blah, blah, blah. If you're anything like me, you go through these cycles too. I want you to understand, first of all, that it's normal. Second of all, we will get into what you can do to stop these cycles from happening. Virtually everyone has a fear of failure and a fear of rejection and a fear of public humiliation. It's hardcoded into our biology. And when you set goals, the prospect of not being able to get there scares us a lot. So we just don't set them. Maybe in your past, you've set goals and you haven't reached them. You were punished in a certain way, blamed yourself in a certain way. Those negative feelings are wired into your body, so you don't want to set goals and you have this resistance to setting goals. I had that. I didn't want to set specific goals. I didn't want to set big goals. I didn't want to do all of that because deep down I was like, what if I fail? I just didn't like the prospect of failing, so I never ended up setting any goals. And guess what? I never got anywhere because I didn't have that sense of direction. You need to know where you're going, because how else are you going to be motivated? So when I ask you, what is your motivation in your fitness journey? And you're like, oh, I just want to build like a really attractive, sexy body. Okay, but how much is that in terms of the weight, the actual shape of the body? How clearly have you visualized it? How would the clothes fit in your new body? How would you move? If I showed you the notes that I made sitting in the Korean military, I was making these fake titles for YouTube videos. I didn't even have a channel. I didn't even have an idea about what I was going to do. I just started writing down like these titles, and it's so cringe. I don't even want to tell you what they were, but it's crazy how I have surpassed the things that I've written down. One technique that I'll give you is visualization. Actually close your eyes and visualize, like, until the moment it feels good. This is a good metric to see if your visualization is working, is to see if it feels good, because you can think like, oh my god, imagine if I made a lot of money and I'm in the Bahamas. That's like, anyone can do that. But if you're like kind of psycho enough to really visualize it, and then you actually feel like you're kind of there, kind of get a smile on your face, like the dopamine's coming, that's a good sign you're doing visualization the right way. You need to track your progress. Do you know why most people give up on their gym journey and their weight loss journey? Is because they don't actually track. So they get these snapshots of how they're doing. Like, they look in the mirror, they're like, oh, you know what, I've been trying so hard for 2 weeks but nothing's happened. Whereas if you actually track the weight that you were moving in the gym, exercise for exercise, set per set, rep per rep, you would know in your brain, I'm progressing. I don't care what the mirror says. Look at these numbers, they don't lie. I'm getting stronger, I'm losing weight. I can see even by 200 grams. I can't see anything in the mirror yet, but it's happening. That is motivation like nothing else. If you've done it, you know that is motivation. And then occasionally you get some other person saying like, wow, you lost weight, or like, wow, you look different, like, what did you do? Like, your shoulders, you look taller, you have better posture. You get this external stuff, but you don't really want to rely on this. But basically, that's what you have to do. You have to track your progress, so that despite the fake signals of the mirror and just your feelings, you know you're progressing. You have to realize that your body and your mind is not geared towards trying to help you achieve your dream body or achieve success in any endeavor of human life. Let's talk about your body first, because that's more important. Your body, the way it looks, the way it's shaped, the way you have 5 fingers, the way you have eyes and 2 nostrils, like everything about your body was designed to help you not die until next day, next week, and next month. It doesn't give a damn about you having a 6-pack, you being attractive. In fact, it doesn't like that, because the more you try to put yourself towards stress, towards growth, towards losing fat, it's gonna say, wait, stop doing this. We want to keep the safety. And the brain was developed to help the body survive. So guess what the brain does? The brain makes even more sophisticated tricks in terms of rationalizations and excuses to keep you off, give you fake dopamine spikes, so that you don't have to go to the gym and do the stressful work. This is why most people are just stuck in that limbo. They try a bit, they fall back, they try a bit, they fall back, right? So understand, your brain and your body don't actually want you to achieve it. So what do? You have to tackle a layer deeper than your thoughts. What I heard once is, if the question is wrong, then the quest will fail. So when you ask the question, how do you stay motivated, you've almost destined yourself to failure, right? All the tips that I gave until now, they are technically helping you stay motivated, but relying on motivation cannot work, because motivation is only good for getting you started. It's not good for sustaining you, and sustaining is where the real growth is. So if you rely on that feeling of motivation, which is only a dopamine kind of like, oh, if I do this, then I'll get this. It's an ego-driven, dopamine-driven, temporary, short-lived feeling of, oh, let's do this, like what you get when you watch a motivational video on YouTube. But it doesn't sustain, it just runs out. It's like willpower, just runs out immediately. So what do you rely on? I'm going to give you 3 things to rely on. Number 1 is momentum. Momentum is Newton's law. Whatever's moving keeps on trying to move. Whatever's stopped wants to stay stopped. Layman's way of explaining, Newton's law, but it's just how it is, and you'll find this to be true in your life. You skip gym one day, it's all right, you can go the next day. You skip 2 days, you feel a little bit less like going. You skip it 4 or 5 times, you skip a whole 2 weeks, it's so much harder to show up to the gym. You keep coming up with more and more excuses. Why? Because the not going to the gym momentum has built up. Whatever you do, it magnifies. That's the law of momentum. So let's say you go to the gym. First time it's hard, second time it's hard, third time it's hard, fourth time it just gets easier and easier and easier and easier, because the momentum of going has built up until it comes to a point where it's just awkward not to go. When I fall off track and I have to skip gym a couple of times, I realize this stopping momentum building up. Like I want to stop and not go. So I just go, all right, I know what's happening here. I just need to break the not going momentum. The best thing to do is just take that one step, that one thing to go to the gym or to do whatever that once, because then you have momentum. Then you have that little bit of momentum, and then you go another. What you're actually doing is just hacking momentum, because you understand that once you have momentum, it will just carry you forward. Like a truck that's speeding, it's very hard to stop. Even if you try to stop, it will just keep going. What's the next thing you have to rely on? You have to rely on habit. You must have heard this before. Humans are creatures of habit. You do a lot of things in life right now, not because of motivation, not because of a burning desire, but purely because that's who you are and that's how you've lived and that's how you see yourself. So like, you might brush your teeth in the morning, you might drink some water in the morning, you might have some coffee at 10 a.m. Why? Because that's just like, it's your habit. It's what you've done all your life. And there's a famous clip of Arnold, so he gets asked, why do you go to the gym?
Same reason as why am I having breakfast today? I had breakfast yesterday, I had breakfast 10 years ago. Why am I still having breakfast?
It's just so ingrained in part of his identity that not doing it seems like a break in who he is. That's the level you want to get to. Like, working out or taking care of my body at this point has become a part of my identity, to the extent that not doing it and neglecting it would just seem weird. It just wouldn't sit well with me. I'd feel very uncomfortable. Next, use discipline. You have to use discipline. Discipline, there's different kinds of discipline. There's 2 kinds, right? There's the hardcore discipline guys that are just ignoring every other emotion that comes up. It's like, discipline. It's the military people. As someone that's been in the military, I know it can be effective, but it's also neglecting so much of human the spectrum of human emotion and the long-term change that is possible by working on deeper layers of emotion and not just overpowering it with like this crazy discipline-driven mentality. Having said that, there's all these other people that are just focused too much on the woohoo stuff, and they don't have the edge, they don't have the drive, the strength to hold themselves in a disciplined manner. And I lived a very wishy-washy, boundaryless, no discipline life for a lot of my 20s, and I regret that. But now I see that every open door comes from being more disciplined. When I became more disciplined with my fitness journey, I started seeing results. When I became more disciplined with my nutrition, I started seeing results. When I became more disciplined with, making videos and trying to help people, then my YouTube was met with an open door. Last but not least, one of the most important thing is accountability. It's actually the deciding factor between someone who actually gets insane results in a really short period of time and someone who faffs around, goes in circles, and tries to figure it his own way and falls off track. Think about how you got good at anything. Someone held you accountable. If it was like languages, your parents would have been like, don't say it like that. That's the wrong way to say it. Say it like this again. Your school, each time you had to put in homework. It's something that keeps you accountable, someone other than yourself, because you can make these secret deals with yourself like you do all the time to not go to the gym, right? You're like, oh, you know what, I've had a hard day. You make all these deals. But if you have a brother next to you who's like, dude, like, what were you doing? You have to go. We said we're gonna go. Let's do this. Or if you have a coach or a mentor that's like expecting the best of you and saying, hey, this is what you wanted to do. Let me remind you of where you're going. Let's do this. And let me see what you've done. Let me try and help you. Let me try and help you break through these struggles. How much would that mean to you to have someone there for you on that journey, step by step, leading you by the hand and just guiding you towards your goal? This is a huge help in a world where we're just distracted and pulled in all kinds of directions. So if you have someone in your life, whether it's a gym buddy or a friend, if you have someone that you can reach out to that can be your accountability partner, I highly recommend you do that. Okay, and these are all ways you can stay away from this fairy of motivation. If you want me to be the guy, hold your hand every step of the way and hold you accountable, I'll leave a link below. I released a coaching program that goes into the training, the nutrition, and the mindset of body transformation. Guys, I hope this helped. On the one hand, realize the best practices to stay on track, and on the other hand, also realize that motivation is a fleeting thing, and to build other systems that are more reliable in the long run. Hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed this, and give me some questions, some things that you want to see on this channel. I'd love to get into those. All right, so thank you very much. Bye-bye. All right, guys, very simple dinner today. Some filet mignon that was on sale, 50% discounts. And maybe have some of this miyoko, which I've shown you before. It's Korean birthday soup with some beef. Absolutely amazingly delicious. So, let's eat this steak. Hey, I did okay, huh? For the steak enthusiast, come on, that's pretty good. Hey. A perfect medium rare. You know what? I think a carnivore diet is actually one of the healthiest diets you can actually be on. The only problem is that it's boring. You can only eat so much steak. You're not gonna have any like tuna belly, salmon nigiri, Korean instant ramen, Napolitan pizza. You're not gonna have any of that. Don't get me wrong, a good steak is as good as it gets, but you can't eat steak all your life. Having said that, a carnivore diet, probably for our body's sake, is actually very healthy. So anyway, here's a fact that I don't know whether you know or not. It's that proteins keep you full longer. Guarda. 2 pieces, probably about 900 calories. Definitely in a calorie deficit today. Can a Korean guy resist Korean food when it's prepared and ready and smelling good? The answer is no. So after finishing those 2 filet mignons and deciding I'm done, I re-decided that I would eat more Korean food. Precisely this miyoko, which is a Korean birthday soup. Seaweed, rice, and soup. Probably about 250 calories right here. And kimchi, of course. So anyways, if you haven't tried this, which you probably haven't if you haven't been to Korea, because it's not the kind of Korean food that gets exported to other countries. Got like duck down because the camera. If you ever have the chance to taste this Korean birthday soup, if you have a Korean friend or something, ask her or him or whoever to make it for your birthday. And you know how like each Italian region has their own like Each Italian family has their own tomato sauce, and each region has its own Parmigiano, or has its own like cheese or whatever. And in France, like each region has its own cheese and its own wine. In Korea, each region and each family has their own kimchi. And kimchi is very good because it has a lot of probiotics, which is good for your gut health, right? And gut health is coming back in a big way because you can't trust your brain no more. People are starting to realize your brain is dumb, like your brain is useless. You gotta trust your gut more. But chances are, when you went against your gut feeling, the most recent time you went against your gut feeling, you were wrong, weren't you? And you regret it. Your gut feeling is rarely wrong. And this isn't some woohoo voodoo shit. It's like literally evolution. Because as animals, when we evolved in fight or flight and we had to detect danger, it was gut before brain. And that's the message of the day. And that you can eat steak with Korean food. That's the other message. Et voilà. Au revoir.